Right, we've started back up quickly, just waiting for Booky to join us, so it should be pretty soon. I've changed phones, so I'm hoping that this time it's going to be a slightly better connection because the last one was a bit of a nightmare. And I promise you, it wasn't a dongle. Don't believe a word he says. Right, here he comes.
Oh, sorry, you caught me doing my makeup, but yeah.
We need more than that.
Oh, prettiest beast out there.
So right, we probably got about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, really, I suppose what I think a good way of end it really is for you to talk about, I suppose, what it is the instigated the change in yourself, and also talking about some of the stuff that you're doing now. Or I mean, if actually let me quickly start with some of the stuff that you're doing now, because I think it's easier for me to say it than for you to talk about it for yourself. But some of the stuff you're doing connected to Carney's is you've been coming down and helping out, volunteering. You did some paid work with us for a while. Now you're doing a lot of volunteering, and since the pandemic hit, you've been down very regularly helping out with food deliveries, helping out doing. You've been posting videos for us as well, daily workout videos, around nutrition, and coming and seeing and speaking to some of the participants. So you're really like putting a lot back into the community that you've come from, and supporting a lot of people who maybe are now in a similar situation to what you were when you were sort of aged 13, 14, 15. So it feels to me like your life's gone full circle, and now you're putting a lot back and you're supporting others, which is exactly what we want to try and see, and exactly what we're trying to promote through Carney's. And so I think you're a role model and a good example for other people.
no,
So
thank
really,
you.
what kind of factors led you to make these changes in your life, and how easy or how difficult was it to make some of those changes?
It, Again, I know people might think this guy loves to talk, but it's such a multi-dimensional scenario. Um, so first, I'm gonna say opportunity. Uh, so the idea that I had stability in my life. I had a job. I was studying, um, and so therefore I had things I was committed to, like things that I had to achieve. And there was like plod. And there was so much stuff I had to do, like so I didn't have time to invest time in other things because if you try to invest any other time in something else, you fall behind there. Yeah. Um, and if you um started a degree, you understand that you owe money at the end of it. So, so either you get it done or you don't. Yeah. And so that was the first bit, I guess, that I had stability. There was also, I was still like, still up to like some more tricks and like going out partying and stuff like that. And I think I've had some godsends, like some individual godsends. Um, So I was in a pub, I was waiting outside the toilet for my mate, and I was doing press ups off a wall, and some old fella walks up to me and says to me, have I said it to you before?
No, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
So the old fella walks up to me and he recites these lines. If you can fulfill the unforgiven minute with 60 seconds of a distance worth run, yours is the earth and everything in it, and which is more, you shall be a man. Yeah. But it hit me like like imagine like life hitting you like the biggest slap, like whack. But it hit me with like wow, like right, that's the realest stuff. That's the realest words I've ever heard in my whole life. But I knew what it meant straight away. Like because most people, when people hear that stuff, they're like, what does that mean? So I'll explain it to you. Like so, if you just think about all those moments in life that you spent doing nothing, like just idle things, yeah. If you spent it doing something more worth your while, how much further would you be? Yeah. And I was like, "Raw, yeah, that's real. That's the realest stuff I've ever heard." Like, I'm sitting here in a pub, I've got uni work to do, I've got this and that to do, but I'm here in a pub. What am I doing here? Yeah. You're not as healthy as you can be. Da-da-da, you're not da-da-da. And it made me feel like, bruv, you need to be a better individual. And I'd not long broke up with my ex-girlfriend at the time as well. So I'm thinking, are you gonna sit here and repeat the same behavior that has left you in a state of well, still recovering from being shot and all this stuff, or you going to become a greater human? Yeah. And so I spent this like it's on one of my own little spiritual journey where I start creating all these interventions to make myself a better person. So the person that was there before, as you would say, people say this guy's turned his life around. And it's not like I would say I've turned my life around. It's but my mindset grew. It grew
Yeah.
past the parameters of the estate. It grew past the parameters that were set there by society. My mind fully expanded. Like, you can do anything you want to do,
You
but
saw
you
your full
have,
potential.
yeah, but you
Yeah.
have to be able to do, you have to put the work in. Like, you're not going to be get a six pack in the pub. You're going to get a six pack by making sacrifices and being committed to certain things. Like, if you like, so that was that, and then um, so with that, taking that those words, and also like understanding the law degree and understanding what I'd understood from the whole personal training course as well, and all this new information that had been like almost like hidden from me in some senses, and I started to act on them. I took him in like, yeah, da, da, da. And you practice them day to day because everyone always thinks like, oh, maybe he just I didn't change in an instant. You just have to practice them moment to moment, day to day, yeah, week to week. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you practice them for so long. Now, these are people, that's what people associate you with. So people no longer look at me and say, oh, yeah, uh, this guy's like the bad man kind of thing, like da da da. It's this guy's so positive. This guy's da da da. This guy's got a good temperament. This guy trained. This guy doesn't drink. Like, it's got so bad that now that if I was to eat a cake, they'll be like, "Oh my days, is he eating a cake?"
I think I
Like,
did that the other day.
but bro, it's just a cake. Like, I took a footballer to a football match, and he's like a little young kid, and he looked at me. I ate a cake at a football match. He's gone, "I can't believe you're eating cake." Oh my days! I think it's like the best thing they've ever seen in their life. So no, I don't eat cake, Hilja. So, and it's like you get to a point where I remember like where I was studying as well and understanding my psychology even more. Yeah, I was I found it. Remember, you spend your whole time at thinking, oh, I do this and that for fun. So I go to the park, I go to a rave for fun or da da da. But I didn't have time for that. So I remember sitting there. I'm sitting in the study in my dad's house, and again, you know what? You have to convince yourself that you study for fun. Like, fun is your version of studying. You learned to watch the TV for fun. You learned to do all these other things for fun. There was a point in life where I used to find studying, in some senses, like I had to get giddy learning new things. I said you have to,
It's a mindset, isn't it?
yeah, find that
Yeah.
mindset. And yeah, so I drove in. I drowned myself in it, like literally, like denied myself these ideas of indulging in things that life had taught me to indulge in. And yeah, I was just I submerged myself in these interventions and learning and being around and understanding myself, even understanding humans. And yeah, I was just doing so much, and like also like chasing this idea of happiness, and started realizing that most of your happiness is going to come when you find contentment, yeah, and meaningfulness and purpose. And that's why you think, oh, you know what, looking at yourself and seeing all the work you've done, it was a perfect place for me to apply my own meaning, find my own meaningfulness. And I'm like, bro, you can really give back to the community. You don't just give back to the community, you can excel other individuals where I realized I've raised in individuals. Like my reputation of being a bad man was raising the next bad man. They were looking at me like I want to be like that man. Because I was like, yeah, like
You was a role model, but just not necessarily
yeah,
a positive one. Now you're a positive role model, but you was a role model back then as well.
yeah. I don't. It's crazy because I didn't think of it as me being a role model. I was just going to do my own thing. But these little kids are looking up to you like I'm going to be like him. And at one point I was like that. I was thinking I'm going to be like that man. Da da da. So I was just thinking, you know what? I have to. That was a dream, and that was a dream. Someone sold me a dream that wasn't worth it. Because when I
Yeah,
achieved those accolades, I guess I did not want them anymore. Like even now, I don't want it. Like going places. Sometimes I went somewhere the other day, and someone was like, "Yo," I'm just thinking, bro, is there anywhere I can go where you people just don't know me? Like
yeah.
for that, do you know what I mean? So like I feel like I needed to expand the mind of people from where I'm from and be like, yeah, bro, you can be that, but you can be so much more. Like you can be.
And I think it's like what you're talking about with mindset and positivity. I mean, for people that I think most of the people that are viewing this now are people that were watching the one that we just did. And so to hear someone who's been shot, who's been not given a fair chance in education, who's not really had much interaction with their mum, who suffered from mental health issues, someone who's been to prison for things they've not necessarily done, but you've come out of this with a really positive mindset. And I mean, even like, I won't say who, but one of your friends who was down at the centre the other day helping out as well was saying that during the whole pandemic thing, they were feeling down and depressed. But then they basically done a session with you where you helped open up their eyes and get them to look at things in a more positive mindset and basically cured them of the negativity they were going through at that point. So it's impressive that you come from situations where you could focus on the negatives, but you don't. You focus a lot more on the positives.
I will say this for anyone listening, yeah. If you've been through something and you that added being mean past tense, that means you've made it through.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so for instance, I remember sitting in jail thinking, I can't possibly be upset with life when I've been places where I don't want to be, I'm no longer there. Like I'm no
yeah,
longer on a hospital bed shot. I'm no longer in prison. I'm no longer saying I haven't been able to achieve in school. So how can I possibly, no matter what happens, be upset? Like I've made it. I'm out of the place I did not want to be in. Yeah. And even if you are in a place where things are tough, it's not the end of the world. That means you've got something you can go and tackle. You got your own story to go and make now. You got
yeah.
like there's a mountain in front of you. You can be like, yeah, I climbed that mountain. No one wants to hear about you walking through your gardens. If you told people that you climb Mount Everest, though, they'll be impressed.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, so before we end it all off, is there any advice you can give to any of the young people that might be watching this, any of the younger Carney's participants who might be going through some of the similar struggles that you did in the past, have a similar mindset to you had in the past? What advice can you give them, or what advice would you have given yourself if you could rewind back to when you were sort of 13, 14, 15?
Um, Dream big, like dream really big, like extremely big. Like if you want to become the next prime minister, if you want to become like the things big and not just big and don't think about the hood. I'm talking when I say big. I'm saying being big in the world. If you want to be something big in the world, yeah, dream it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's everything, yeah. Be optimistic. And then think I have a realistic plan of action to achieve that. Yeah. Um, that would be my two main things. Like I wish more than anything that I had this plan of action from earlier stage. Like have this. Don't be afraid to fail 10 times as well. Yeah, because every single time you fail, you're learning.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I know obviously you got a boxing background as well, but it's like we always say down at the gym. It's if you've got a boxing bout on, you either get a win or you get a learn. the only time you ever get a loss is if you don't learn anything from it.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same thing. You got, like, when you go through these struggles, like, I don't know if you've watched the I can't remember what's called, but the Michael Jordan documentary that's going out on that's been out on Netflix. And there's so much that he talks about where he's failed so much, and he's so grateful for failing, because that's what got him to the point of being the most successful NBA player that's ever lived. And he got there through failure.
Yeah.
And learning from that failure.
Exactly that. Skipping is a perfect example. Like, you can skip, and if you first learn to skip, it is a headache. Right, you're tripping over the rope and da 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 da. But it's only through repetition. You're not gonna put the skipping rope down, walk away, and come back to it and skip again. Like, it's not how it works. You got to keep on skipping, and when you start skipping, after a while, you just catch the rhythm. Once you'll get the bug, as you were saying the other day, you get the bug, and because things were going right, and you'll be like, oh yeah. And even sometimes while you're skipping as well, you're gonna trip up. The rope might come round and whip you in the back of the neck, like, raw, that hurt. But you're still standing. Fix yourself up again and carry on skipping. And that's, I think that's the best way for me to describe it. Best knowledge I can use.
No, exactly. All right, well, I think we're probably going to end it there. So just a big thanks from everyone at Carney's for doing this. Also, there's been quite a few comments coming up through. A number of people are asking when the biography is going to be out.
Whoever wants to write, innit? I ain't got time for all of that. But
I think it'll make a good story. I think it'll make a good story, definitely.
Yeah, wait till you hear Sashmos.
No, but seriously, thanks a lot, and well done on everything that you're achieving, everything you're doing. And just, make sure you have another positive 31 years.
Amen. Thank you again, George, man. Everyone, don't give me a round of applause. Give George a round of applause. Because this guy, no word of a joke, is amazing. Like, I don't say that for just for saying it's sake. This guy is genuinely one hell of a role model for myself and for any other human. Like, forget anything else. Like, this guy is a human role model. So yeah, thank you, George.
Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. The last comment that's come up though is eat cake. So yeah, go and have some birthday cake, some healthy, no carb, no sugar birthday cake.
I'd rather do some press ups.
I like to. No, I said, all right, then, Booky. Well, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right, sweet.
Bye. Bye.